Hello, folks. Welcome to another episode of John's Junk and Other Stories. This is going to be a very geeky episode. It's very good. It's going to be very Wandavision heavy. So if you haven't seen the series finale yet, please stop watching the video now. Go back, watch it, and come back and watch this video. Thank you very much. Now, for those of you still watching who have seen the finale, please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell for further updates on my videos. That does help. I do appreciate it, and I really kind of want to get over the barrier where I have like 60% of people watching the videos, but only 30%, 30 to 40% of people are subscribed. So please like that. Please hit the like and subscribe buttons, and please leave a comment below. So Wandavision finished today. I've literally finished watching the season finale about 2 or 3 minutes ago. I'm going to go quite spoiler heavy on this. So again, as I said, if you haven't watched the series finale yet, please don't watch this video until you have. Thank you. I don't want to be responsible for spoiling it for you. Okay, so where do we start? So I'm going to start in a general overview of the Wandavision series first and my thoughts on it. Now, I thought it was an interesting concept that was not necessarily explored as well as it could have been. I genuinely feel like they came up with the concept of the sitcom and the universe and then grafted Wanda and Vision and the Marvel universe onto it. I feel like the concept was flawed in the sense that because you were only really following two characters, literally the only two characters that I feel like were given anything to do were Vision and Wanda, and Paul Bettany and Elizabeth Olsen obviously stepped up to the mark and really kind of delivered on the performances that they were given the material for. I think that Paul Bettany always gives a good performance as Vision. I think that he manages to find humanity within the character of Vision without trying to make it like a data clone or a robot looking for humanity without making it too cloying, because you never get the impression that he's looking for humanity. He's just Vision. I feel like they managed to explore some interesting ideas with him, but at the end of the day, he wasn't the main focus of the series. That was Elizabeth Olsen, and she carried basically every episode, with the obvious exception of episode 4, where she wasn't really in it that much. I feel like the show obviously lived and died on her performance, and I think she stepped up to deliver on what she was given. But again, due to a flawed concept, she wasn't really given a great overall story for the series. You know, we knew she was grieving. We knew she was good. We knew she had powers. Straight from the beginning, we knew that she had at least something to do with the creation of what was going on in Westview, and it never really, I feel like it never really got into exploring her grief or exploring her as a character. I think they obviously were looking to try and do something similar to what Punisher did and explore maybe some of the PTSD stuff that happened to Wanda after Infinity War, after the snap, and coming back and realizing that everyone she had cared for was gone. And I think that's a very interesting, powerful central concept for a character. But I feel like WandaVision blew it by not really kind of allowing that part to come through. Even in the episodes that were outside of the concept of the series, like the last 2 or 3 and episode 4, you got glimpses of what she went through, but not really enough to buy into the emotional state of the character, if that makes sense. And I feel like certainly in the finale, when she was saying goodbye to the kids, there was no, like, she was almost like resigned. Now that could have been something that they were planning on doing because of her discovering the Scarlet Witch persona. We won't know until Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness comes out. But I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like it was a wasted opportunity, and to not kind of explore what grief looks like for someone who can literally reshape their world. I feel like they maybe missed a trick there. In terms of the central villain, obviously everyone now knows that Catherine Hahn was playing Agatha Harkness. I feel like she was wasted. I feel like Catherine Hahn is a good actress. She was very interesting in the Spider-Verse film where she played Doc Ock. I feel like she gave everything she had to what she had, but because of the way the character was designed, and because we only got 2 episodes out of 8 where we got to see her in her full form, or one really, because she wasn't really her full form in the Wanda flashback episode either. It was only really the finale where you got to see her at full whack. And again, you never really got the sense that she was a comparable foe. And I feel like this is a problem with Marvel in general when it comes to their villains. I feel like the villains are either super powered and over the top like Thanos, but obviously they had to do that with Thanos because they wanted him to be able to destroy the universe and then come back, or they're weak and they are like mirror images of the heroes, which again is not necessarily a bad thing if you're gonna. And certainly Marvel have got themselves some great actors over the years to play the villains, but they're just largely underwritten, or they're largely underperformed, or undersold. You've only got to look back at Whiplash in Iron Man 2, or Guy Pearce in Iron Man 3. The villains in Marvel films seem to go from one extreme to another. They're either going to be useless or they're going to be superpowered. But the problem is they're always quite camp. With the exception of Thanos, with the exception of Alexander Pierce in Winter Soldier, the villains are very kind of weak, and I think Agatha fell into that trap as well, where she was there for a couple of episodes and it's like, oh, look at this super villain, and she really didn't do a lot in the series, and it wasn't her. She never impacted Wanda or her vision. Excuse me. She never really impacted on Wanda at all. It's like she made her see the error of her ways, but that could have been done in any other way. That could have been done in so many different ways. That could have been done, they could have used Monica Rambeau as a character to have done that. They didn't have to use, there was nothing unique about Agatha in the series, in my opinion. And speaking of wasted opportunities, obviously everyone knows Evan Peters turned up as a version of Quicksilver, and it was quickly kind of decided, oh, he must be the supervillain in the series, he must be Mephisto, he must be blah 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 blah. Obviously, anyone who's seen the finale realised that that's not the case at all. He's just someone who was in Westview that Agatha took over. I feel like this was quite clever. I feel like this was quite a good job on Marvel's part, and certainly the series part, because it showed that they aren't using anything from the Fox X-Men universe, or certainly suggested that they aren't using anything from the X-Men universe, because they've now said he's not Quicksilver, he's this Ralph guy, So it gives them the clean slate to kind of reboot the whole universe, reboot the whole X-Men side of the universe without kind of having to rely on anything that's come before, which again I think is quite a useful, quite a clever way of doing it. I think Paul Bettany's going to get himself in trouble for the whole kind of, there's a super duper cameo that no one's ever mentioned, and it turned out to be him playing another version of Vision. Now, I love that. I think it's clearly Paul Bettany having a laugh, knowing how little people knew about the series, and knowing how the fans would kind of like spring the rumors, and they did. Let's be honest, everyone thought it was going to be Doctor Strange, Iron Man. Yeah, Reed Richards was mentioned, even though we had no idea what the casting for Fantastic Four was going to look like. I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was brilliant, and I think Paul Bettany clearly was enjoying himself by making that comment. Talking to Paul Bettany, obviously, there's no with White Vision. There's nothing to suggest that we've seen the last of him as Vision. It's just the last of him as the Vision that we knew. Obviously, there's the scene where our Vision passes on the images to White Vision. So again, it'd be interesting to see how and if they play that out over the films, over Phase 4. I think on the whole, again, the ending of the series, be warned, there are 2 mid-credit scenes, so you do actually have to watch the credits. One of them's a bit kind of meh. It's more of potentially a Captain Marvel to set up, and the other one is definitely something that feels like it's leading into Multiverse of Madness. But again, we will see how that plays out in Doctor Strange 2. I feel like I'm going to be more interested in Falcon and Winter Soldier, just because it looks more of an action series than a sitcom series. So in closing, my final thoughts on Wandavision season 1, or the Wandavision series, if it comes back at all. I think that it lived and died on Elizabeth Olsen, and they were very lucky that she kind of was able to step up and take on a series like this and actually own it and do really well. I think that they have found an interesting way of introducing the Scarlet Witch as a separate kind of persona or a separate power set, as opposed to what we've seen Wanda be able to do before. I feel like we haven't seen the last of Vision or Agatha. I think it'd be interesting to see how both of those characters play out. I certainly hope that Disney and Marvel use this as an idea of where to go next with their series. Again, one thing that has bugged me over the last few weeks is the sheer amount of fan theory which we got right. You know, obviously we, a lot of fans got a lot of things right. A lot of fans pegged Agnes as Agatha straight away. A lot of people pegged Monica as getting her powers, and she did. Everyone pegged Evan Peters as not being Quicksilver, and again, that turned out to be the case. The only things that we got wrong was the cameo, which Paul Bettany's an arse. I think Disney are very clever in how they're doing their shows, like by giving them a floating running time. I think that obviously with Mandalorian, the longer episodes worked because they were telling a much kind of more involved story, whereas with WandaVision, it was all about kind of like, look at the concept we got now, look at the setting we got now, look at the setting we got now, end. So, and yeah, I think maybe if they'd stuck to the exploring the outside universe a bit more, or maybe having flashes towards the outside universe a bit more, I think it would have been more interesting than what it actually turned out to be. On the whole, I don't think a bad series. I don't think it was a great series. I think it was a series that I watched. In terms of comparing it to other Marvel series, it's obviously better than, in my opinion, of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which I always had problems with. It's not as good as the Netflix series, The Punisher, Daredevil, and Jessica Jones, obviously, and Iron Fist. I think my favourite series is still Punisher out of the ones that I've seen so far, and obviously we'll see what happens with Falcon and Winter Soldier. But that's my opinion. I'm sure people will leave their answer below on how they feel about it. But please watch the show, enjoy the show, like and subscribe to the videos. I will be doing some more nerdy content as well. And thank you very much for your time today, guys. Bye.